Hello, so today we're going to talk about the hyperlipidemia. So, what is hyperlipidemia? It is referred to elevated level of lipids, aka fats, in the bloodstream. These lipids include cholesterol and triglycerides, while some amount of lipids in the blood is necessary for various body functions, such as cell memory formation and hormone production. However, excessively high levels can lead to health problems. So when people talk about hyperlipidemia, it actually can be categorized into primary and secondary types. So the primary type is often due to genetic factors and is typically seen in conditions such as familial hypercholesterolemia. In primary hyperlipidemia, the body may produce too much cholesterol or have difficulty processing it efficiently, leading to elevated level in the blood. So the secondary hyperlipidemia is usually as a result of external factors such as unhealthy diet, high in saturated fats and cholesterol, sedentary lifestyle, obesity, diabetes. It really means that you acquire that after a certain period of bad habits in your life. So the physiology of hyperlipidemia is lipid absorption and synthesis. Dietary fats, including triglycerides and cholesterol, are absorbed in the intestines, and then the cholesterol can be synthesized dangerously in the liver, and the triglycerides are primarily derived from dietary intake and stored in the liver. Then the lipids are transported through a bloodstream, bound to proteins and forming lipoproteins. So the lipoprotein serves as a vehicle for transporting lipids to various tissues in the body. That's why it actually affects different organs in the whole body. The role of lipoprotein and it actually transport triglycerides from intestines to peripheral tissues, and also it participate carry dangerously synthesize triglycerides from the liver to peripheral tissues. And the LDL particles transport cholesterol from the liver to peripheral tissues, including arterial walls. HDL particles scavenge excessive cholesterol from peripheral tissues and transport it back to the liver for excretion in a process known as the reverse cholesterol transport. So how do they regulate lipid levels? So the lipid metabolism is tightly regulated by various enzymes, receptors, and regulatory proteins. Hormones such as insulin, glucagon, thyroid hormones, and adrenothyroid influence lipid synthesis, breakdown, and transport. So the liver plays a central role in regulating lipid metabolism by synthesizing lipoprotein and enzyme involved in lipid processing. So, what are the causes of hyperlipidemia? The first, as mentioned before, the first cause is genetic factors. So it's either genetic mutation or a variation. It really comes when you were born, or even before you're born. Your DNA really having these problems. Then the insulin resistance and metabolic syndrome. So what it really means that insulin resistance is associated with this lipidemia, characterized by elevated triglycerides, decreased HDL cholesterol, and increased levels of small and dense LDL particles. So it can lead to increased hepatic synthesis of VLDL cholesterol and decreased clearance of triglyceride-rich lipoproteins. And the dietary factors, the consumption of a diet high in saturated fat, trans fats, cholesterols, and refined carbohydrates, and can contribute to hyperlipidemia. So excessive intake of dietary cholesterol and saturated fats promotes the synthesis and secretion of cholesterol-rich lipoproteins by the liver, leading to elevated LDL cholesterol levels. And then you have obesity. It is very closely associated with this lipidemia, and particularly elevated triglycerides levels and decreased HDL cholesterol levels. Adipose tissue dysfunction in obesity leads to increased release of free fatty acids and pro-inflammatory cytokines, which impair insulin sensitivity and promote this lipidemia. So, and also lastly, you will have inflammation and oxidative stress. So once you have stress, it really affects the oxidative stress play a key role in the pathogenesis of hyperlipidemia and atherosclerosis. Inflammatory cytokines such as interleukin and tumor necrosis factor alpha promotes hepatic production of acute phase protein and dyslipidemia. So, an oxidative modification of LDL particles promotes their uptake by macrophage in arterial walls, leading to formation of foam cells and development of atherosclerotic plaques. So the demographic of hyperlipidemia is really based on depend on age, gender, race, ethnicity, and the socioeconomic factors. Age really as a so hyperlipidemia becomes more relevant with age. So the once a person reaches to middle age and beyond, is have higher chances to have a hyperlipidemia. So older adults are more likely to have this issue, really because they're slow in metabolism, hormone fluctuations, and cumulative effects of lifestyle habits over time. And gender. So actually, women tend to have lower LDL cholesterol than men. So the risk of hyperlipidemia increases in women due to hormone changes when they reach to menopause period. And men generally have a higher risk of hyperlipidemia. And the gap narrows, as mentioned. Once women reach run into menopause, the gap becoming narrow between men and women. And the race and uncertainty. So non-Hispanic Black and Hispanic individuals tend to have higher rates hyperlipidemia. It's really due to lifestyle and dietary factors, what kind of food they consume every day. And these disparities may also contribute by genetic factors, actually. Cultural dietary preferences, as mentioned before, and also healthcare access barriers. And the social economic status, such as income, education levels, access to healthcare services, can also influence prevalence and management of hyperlipidemia. So individuals with lower socioeconomic status may have limited access to healthy food, so preventive healthcare services and medications, leading to higher rates of hyperlipidemia and cardiovascular disease. And lastly, if you have a family history, as I mentioned before, then you're more likely to have this problem. And then other people other families, they don't who don't have this in their genes. So the diagnosis of hyperlipidemia is test into levels of total cholesterol. They can test your cholesterol level, LDL cholesterol, and HDL cholesterol, and triglyceride in the blood. Basically, the doctor will order to draw your blood and to test this cholesterol level to see if you have this problem. And so once you reach age of 20, it's recommended that you check up, do a blood test on the hyperlipidemia regularly. So the treatment of hyperlipidemia, including dietary change, regular physical activities, meaning that you do more exercise, and weight management. You have to control your weight and quit smoking. Actually, smoking is also can lead to hyperlipidemia. Then you have the pharmacological interventions, statin, azithromycin, fibrates, nicotine. So they're also kind of medicines can be used to treat this problem. So the role of AI in treating with hyperlipidemia is the AI can help humans to the risk prediction and the stratification and personalize the treatment and the drug discovery and development, behavioral interventions, and do the telemedicine and remote monitorings for the people who have this problem. So that will sum up my presentation. Thank you very much.